Okay, so for our final presentation of today, we have Phil Bedford, Master Franchisee for the Middle East and South India for the Referral Institute, who will be speaking on generating income for live streaming, Zoom webinars, Microsoft Teams live events. What's right for your business? Over to you, Phil. Round of applause, please, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, let's check the sound. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Hello! It's the last one, but this means we've got to be more excited, right? Good job. Okay, so I'm going to... This is underwater hockey, if anybody's wondering what it is. Okay, I don't know if they play it in South Korea, but it's now in Dubai. Okay, so let's tell you a story. I was once told a story of a guy called Jack. Jack was sent to Africa, to a region, to sell shoes. Now, when he got to Africa, he was there for a month. And then he came back to the company and said, that was a complete waste of time. And they said, why? They said, because they don't wear any shoes. So anyway, the company wasn't going to give up, and they found another salesperson. They sent another salesperson there called John. John goes for 3 weeks, and he comes back from Africa, and he goes, it's amazing. And they said, why? Because Jack went, said it was rubbish. No, he says, they don't wear shoes. There's a complete market. So, what happened to my business? Well, let me just give you an idea of what I do so you can then understand the rest of the story. Is that okay? So first of all, I work with entrepreneurs. Normally entrepreneurs from 0 to 10 years. Now what happens is, let's just take a step back. There's actually only 2 ways you can get new clients. Only 2 ways. For free, or you can spend money. Think about that. Only 2 kinds of marketing. You can get it for free, or you can spend money. Which one would you rather have? Free or spend money? Free. But what does everyone do? Paid. Okay, so now you know where I'm coming from. So what I do is I specialize in a very unique area. So just have a look on the screen behind me. This was a study of 17,000 small businesses. And what they said to these business owners was, where do you get your new clients from? New clients. And they said the majority was from what they call word of mouth. From warm leads, from our friends, from our clients, from our connections. What they didn't get a lot of leads from was from the other areas, which was advertising and marketing, cold calling, and PR. Why? Well, here's the thing. Small businesses don't have a lot of money. So when you haven't got a lot of money to spend on marketing and advertising, you rely on the free stuff. You go out and shake hands. You meet people. So that's my speciality. Okay? Now also, what do you think happens when there's a recession? When COVID hit, what happened to people's budgets? Did they have lots of money? Gone. Your sales team, the leads, gone. What people don't do is go and look at the offline thing. Networking, relationships, and all that, okay? So here's the thing. Let me take a step back. What happened during COVID? Now, while I'm very proud about the way I grow my business, which is for free, I need people. I need to be interacting with people. I need to be shaking hands, having networking, meeting people. But during COVID, what happened? No more. Gone. My whole revenue, gone. Because also in the UAE at that time, we didn't have online Zoom. We didn't have all these other options. It was all offline. But of course, in the wisdom, the government decided to give us Zoom and gave us these options. It was fantastic. The world opened up. But I made a choice. I remember sitting there and actually thinking, oh, should I actually pay for a Zoom membership? Which was like $50. Imagine now if I hadn't. My whole pivot went from offline to online. So go back again. We look at that. All of my clients were coming from this one area, which disappeared. Now, break this down again. If we look at this whole, what we call relationship marketing, if we were to break that down, these are the different areas. Okay, we have what we call word of mouth, referrals, your personal network, friends, family, networking, and look at the social media bit. This is where the study I mentioned before, they said, where do these new clients come from for most small businesses? And look at the social media bit. It's like this. And for most people, they know that as a truth. For most people, social media is about visibility, letting people know you exist, credibility. It wasn't necessarily the best source of new clients. I know we've got a chef in the room. My wife's a home cook. So maybe not at your level, but a very passionate home cook. Where does most of your clients come from? Your reputation and referral, I bet. Recommendation. Most of us, if we take 1 second to think, it's from the good work we've done, and people say, go to them. Okay, but not social media. But this was the only option left to me. So I was like, okay, well, what can I do? I could look at Africa as having no shoes, or I could look at Africa as an opportunity. So I looked at online. And I went to look at all the different online platforms, social media, and I decided that in the Middle East, the one platform that was not being used properly was LinkedIn. So I went to LinkedIn. But let's go back again. My world was real communities. It's people getting together. And of course, this disappeared. So what's the nearest thing I could do? It was bring the communities online. How could I bring community together and keep it working? So I thought, okay, I can't do it in the real world. I'll do communities online, on Zoom, on whatever platform is your preferred. You can do it on anyone. Zoho, Zoom, Cisco, whatever you want. So I bought these communities online. But then I thought, how am I going to meet all these people? Because I'm stuck in my house. So I went back to LinkedIn again. And I looked at LinkedIn and I thought, how can I turn this into a funnel? Now, if any of you guys are on LinkedIn, I've noticed hundreds of people on LinkedIn, but the problem they've got, in my mind, is what they're doing is that they're connecting with people. Will you connect with me? And then nothing else ever. Is that a network? Is that a community? Not at all. So my point was, number one, I need to connect with people. But secondly, if I want to move this into a community, I need something different. Now, the problem is for a lot of people, this is how they're looking at LinkedIn. They're posting beautiful blogs. They're posting videos. And then they're hoping clients come. Instead of doing this, I thought, well, what if I go out and meet people on LinkedIn? I proactively go and meet people that I want to meet. So, using Sales Navigator, I find exactly the kind of people I want to connect with. I approach them, but here's the thing. Have you ever been approached on LinkedIn and there's a little message in your box and someone's selling at you immediately? Connect with me, I'm going to sell you my services. What do you do? Delete, go away, right? Okay, so this is what's happening. People are connecting on LinkedIn and like pouncing on each other, right? So I'm thinking, well, this isn't going to work. I'm never going to build a community if everybody's pouncing. So I need to play with this. I need to do something differently. So what I decided to do is look at these sales statistics. This is really interesting. I'll give you a second just to look at it. Now, what this is basically saying, particularly if you look at this part of it here, if you meet somebody on the first occasion, your chances of them buying from you are 2%. So why is everybody selling on LinkedIn? Why? Because what they're doing is going, go away. That doesn't build community. So I looked at these statistics at the bottom. 80% of people will choose to buy from you if they connect with you 5 to 12 times. So how do I get these people who don't know me to meet me 5 or 6 times? So what I thought was, let's look at community. Now, have you ever, when you've met somebody new, let me take a step back. When you meet somebody for the first time, and they're like, in the real world, hi, my name's Phil. And you go, hi, my name's Manal. I say, great. What do you do? And you're like, well, you know, I do this and this. I go, good. Well, I'm a real estate agent. Do you want to buy a house? And they're like, what? I said, yeah, I'm a real estate agent. Do you want to buy a house? Well, I don't know. Are you renting? Yes. Well, in that case, you're wasting money. I'll show you how to buy a house. And you're like, what? Run away, right? The difference is when we meet people, have you met somebody who right from the beginning tries to help you? When somebody tries to help you right from the beginning, whether they give you advice, they want to know about you, they try and help you, but they don't sell at you, how does that dynamic change? All our relationships and all our lives, whether it's our best friends, our family, it all comes because we give. It's not there because we sell at each other. Think about this for 1 second. If I was to meet you outside and buy you a cup of coffee, what are you going to want to do? Buy me one back. If I happen to buy you 2 or 3 cups of coffee, well, now what's happening? I really need to buy you one back because decent people need to find balance. So think about this. If we can bring this strategy as a business development tool of giving, and we can get enough of these people together, what starts to happen? Beauty. We can start to build community. So I said, how can I give on LinkedIn? Now go back to 2020, what was happening? Everybody was so worried, right? People couldn't pay their bills. Businesses are going under. And it seemed to me completely inappropriate to be chasing people for money. So instead, I just decided to give. I decided to give free networking, give connections, give free workshops. And so what I did, guys, this is actually one of the groups. You can see me up there on the second window. What I would do in Zoom is, LinkedIn, is when I connected on LinkedIn, I would connect, but say to them, look, I'm trying to build a community here. I'd like to meet you, but I'd like to invite you to a networking event on Zoom, which is free, so you and I can meet each other and other people as well. And you know what? Some people took me up, and some people carried on going, click, run away. That's their choice. So what happens when you start to build community? We were having conversations like, this is here now. How do we help each other? This is here now. What are we missing? How can we do better? So what we're doing is listening to all these other experts, getting all these tips and driving our business forward instead of trying to do it on my own. Once people join me in these communities, what happens then? A lot of these people after this, they're like, Phil, what do you do? And by the way, when I'm in these communities, I never sell. I just let all these people say what they're doing. They ask for what they need. And then afterwards, maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But the point is, I've given. I've given coffee. I've given flowers, metaphorically. And the amount of people that say to me afterwards, thank you, that was lovely, I enjoyed it. What do you do, Phil? And so afterwards, if they wanted to, we had a conversation. But I got to the 5 or 12 contacts. You see, what I want you to do is think about this a little bit like a sponge. Goodwill is like a sponge. What happens with a sponge when you fill it with water? It gets really big, right, and really heavy. So that's goodwill. When we help each other, when we help people, it's like filling this big, beautiful sponge. And then one day, when you need it, when you need help, when you need clients, you can squeeze and all the goodwill comes out. How many of us are approaching business like this? So what I did is moved all my business pretty much online. And so I've been streaming all my community meetings, my workshops, my networking, everything has been online. Am I going to stay online? Yes. And am I going to go back to offline? I already have. But what it's done is open up a whole new world for me. Suddenly, instead of just working in Dubai, I'm running networking groups with people in them, one in Abu Dhabi, one in Sharjah, one in South Africa, and there's people joining me from all over the world in a way I never could have done before. The world is now open because of this new way of connecting. And we can choose to embrace that, or we can choose to go, click, bye-bye. What's the possibilities? So this is my new funnel now. instead of that little tiny bit, I've still got all this. I still have all these possibilities that most people don't have, but now I've got this online one as well. What parts of your business could you open up and give and start to bring people in? Do you think there's some other benefits? So the other thing I did is, as I was looking at this online world, was I actually said to myself at one point, oh my gosh, what happens if we really don't go back to the real world? What happens if we're stuck at home for 3 years? What am I missing? So what I actually did during lockdown, I wrote 3 books. So I used lockdown to write 3 books. And the 3 books were all based on my experiences in lockdown. So number 1 I had to laugh about, it was called You're on Mute. So basically, on every Zoom call or every online call all around the world, every day someone mentions my book. You're on mute. Right? Another one called Branding Schmanding, and another one called I Just Need a Hug that I have to mention. So all these were done because I thought, what happens if we don't? And then what I also did was do some online courses so that people could do the courses from home even if they couldn't meet me. Okay? So how do we adapt to new environments? No shoes, or everybody gets shoes? The interesting thing about, let me just go back again, sorry. The interesting thing about I Just Need a Hug. Do you know what I realized? For years, people have been saying, we don't need networking anymore. Why? Because we've got social media, we've got Zoom, we've got Webex, we've got all this. We don't need the real world. What for? We got social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. And I started to think, well, maybe they're right. But cast your mind back to when you're all masked up and you're walking around and you see somebody, you see a friend, you've been communicating for the last 6 months on Zoom, you've been meeting, you've been talking. You get out, you meet them in the real world, they come walking towards you with the masks on. I can't tell you how many people I saw go, I just need a hug. Am I right? So what is that? Obviously, online's not enough. Obviously, we need offline as well. But here's the thing. I think for all of us, if we're small business owners, if we're corporates, if we can embrace on and offline, so much more is possible, right? So stream online and stream in the real world as well. All right? So going back to here, this was kind of the results of what I was doing over the time. I went in the 2 years from 5,000 to 25,000 LinkedIn contacts. Okay, in 2 years. Okay, I'm not a million person LinkedIn person, but that's because I started at 5,000 during lockdown. I know there's people with a lot more, but it's the growth, right? But here's the thing. How many of those people do you think I've met? I've actually had a conversation with. This is the difference. I mean, it's like you look at Facebook. How many friends have you got? All right. Do you really think they're your friends? No. The way I test my friends is, would you give me a lift to the airport? If you'll take 20 minutes out of your day, you're a friend. If you won't, you're just a contact. And I think we've become to start calling everybody our friends, and they're not really, they're acquaintances, right? So anyway, life gets better. The more people that know us, the more people that care about us, the better life gets. But we've become throwaway with our relationships because everything's just a click away and, oh, I've got loads of friends. Okay, I'm not going to go down that route. All right. The second one was I started to realize that by Zooming and doing all my networking online, I was doing different kinds of networking groups. So I had a networking group for small business owners. I have a networking group, this is all online. Another one for the sustainable industry, people who love sustainable environmental stuff. I have another one for people that love sport. I even had one for people that love pets. Go figure, eh? Pets. And they come together and they bring their pets with them on the Zoom call. You know, I'm looking for another one. I'm trying to get my wife to do one for people that love food. Ah, I got you. I'm in. Okay. This will make you laugh. I'm actually in a men's dinner club. Yeah, look at me, cooking. Okay. So the other thing about online networking is it's 24%. I was saving costs because I wasn't spending it on rooms. I wasn't driving up and down. So I was saving money. I was saving 15 hours a week in terms of running around. But by the way, so are my clients. My clients aren't driving around wasting time either. And here's the best one. 2020 and 2021, my company, which is international, had our biggest ever years. And here's the thing. We did it by giving. We did it by helping people. And people appreciated it and came to find out what was going on. How beautiful is that? And I met over 2,500 people while I was locked down. That's more people than I met normally. 2,500 people I had conversations with. Lockdown was awesome. I know, in a weird way. But it was great. I met so many lovely people. What are the possibilities? Shoes are on, shoes are off. And the best news, still in business. Isn't that a brilliant bonus? Still in business and still making a difference. Because my clients are small businesses. My clients are trying to chase their dreams. My clients are worried about their families just like all of us. So wouldn't the world be a better place if we had more tools? So, if any of you are thinking, hey, could I leverage this online, offline networking thing? This is a free gift for you. If you take a snip of this, it's a lovely little quiz I developed, and it will help you understand where you're situated in terms of your knowledge to be able to leverage online and offline networking. And I'd love you to have a go at it, and I'd love you to reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, Phil, I saw you speak. Let me know what you took away from this, and I'd love to know your score. So ladies and gentlemen, shoes are on or shoes are off? There we go. Thank you very much.